Today we'll be studying absorption by roots, the processes involved, chapter 4 of biology, class 10th, Icse board. Let's get started. I'll read the para first. Absorption by the roots. The roots not only fix the plant in the soil, giving it support, but the most important and life-supporting function of the roots is to absorb water and mineral nutrients from the soil and conduct them into the stem for supply to the leaves, flowers, fruits, etc. Now, basically 3 functions are being told in this paragraph. First is that the roots fix the plant in the soil to give it support, right? We all know this. Second is that the roots absorb water from the plant and then it conducts them into the stem for supply to the leaves, fruits, flowers, etc. Similarly, it also conducts mineral nutrients. So we have got 3 functions. Roots fix the plant in the soil, giving it support, and it absorbs water from the soil and then conduct it into the stem for supply to the leaves, fruits, flowers, etc. And the third is that roots absorb mineral nutrients from the soil and conducts it into the stem for supply to the fruits, flowers, leaves, etc. Now, need of water and mineral for plants. Now we have got to know that roots absorb water and mineral nutrients from the soil, right? But why is water and mineral nutrients needed for the plant? In this portion, the answer to that question will be given. Now, besides being a constituent of protoplasm, we know what is wait, let me first finish the paragraph first. Besides being a constituent of protoplasm, water is needed inside the plant body for 4 purposes: photosynthesis, transportation, and mechanical stiffness. So it said here that water is a constituent of protoplasm. Protoplasm, the living parts of the cell. So water is a constituent of protoplasm, we know that. But besides being that, water is needed in the plant body for 4 purposes, mainly transpiration, photosynthesis, transportation, and mechanical stiffness. Let's go in detail. Photosynthesis. Now, water is used up in the green leaves as a raw material in the synthesis of glucose. We all know that glucose is produced. There is a chemical reaction for that, and water is a reactant. So, water is used up in the green leaves. And where is water found? It's found in the green leaves, and from there it is used up as a raw material in the synthesis of glucose. So this process is photosynthesis. So here water is needed. Second is transpiration. Now we know that a large quantity of water gets evaporated as water vapor during transpiration. So water is also used up in transpiration or during transpiration. Now, why does it happen? It is also written here. Transpiration happens for cooling the plant in the hot weather and for also producing a suction force. Now, producing a suction force. In the next chapter, transpiration, this suction force is more elaborated, and we'll get to know that in that portion. Anyways, let's start transportation. Transportation of substances in water solution from the roots upward into the shoot or from leaves to other parts, sugar, etc. Now, substances are transported. What substances? Basically mineral nutrients, that is ions and salts, right? Now these substances are transported in water solution, right? From where? From the roots up to the shoot, and basically what is transported here? Mineral salts, and then from leaves to other parts, sugar. That is substances such as sugar is transported from leaves to other parts. This is what they are trying to say here. Fourth one is mechanical stiffness. Now, mechanical stiffness means when water is filled in a plant, in a cell of a plant, the cell becomes turgid. We say that the cell has become turgid. That is, it is in a fully distended condition. And this turgidity or fully distended condition of the cell is necessary for the stiffness of the plant tissues. So here we know that for mechanical stiffness, water is used. Let me read the paragraph. Water provides turgidity, fully distended condition, which is necessary for the stiffness of plant tissues. Now, mineral nutrients required by the plant are absorbed from the soil by the roots only. Some of these nutrients are absorbed as salts and some simply as ions. As I have told you before, the same thing. So, and some simply as ions, potassium, calcium, magnesium, chlorine, etc. These elements are required as constituent of cell and cell organelles, as well as in the synthesis of a variety of compounds or enzymes within the cell. So, roots absorb mineral nutrients as well as water. Now, these mineral nutrients which are required by the plant are absorbed by the roots from the soil in two forms basically. Some of these nutrients are absorbed as salts, which includes nitrates, phosphates, sulfates, etc. And some simply as ions, which includes potassium, calcium, magnesium, chlorine, etc. Now these elements, that is salts and ions, they are required as constituents of cell and cell organelles. So, which means that salts and ions are required in the cell and cell organelles, as well as they are also required in the synthesis of a variety of compounds or enzymes within the cell. Next topic is characteristics of roots for absorbing water. The ability of the roots to draw water from the soil is dependent on three main characteristics, which are: first, surface area of roots is enormous. What does that mean? See, I'll read this first, okay. It is a common experience that even a small garden plant such as balsam and any other, when gently uprooted from the soil, shows a thick bunch of rootlets. When carefully examined, each rootlet would show hundreds of root hairs. If all the root hairs of this plant were to be laid end to end, they would cover a length of many kilometers. So, this book says a botanist H.J. Dittmer worked out that a 4-month-old rye plant had an aggregate, which means total root length of about 600 kilometers. The number of root hairs in it exceeded 14 billion, and the estimated total length would even exceed 10,000 kilometers. Thus, altogether, the roots of any plant provide a huge surface area to facilitate the absorption of water, that is, to easily absorb water. So, what this paragraph says is that the roots of a plant is enormous. Why? This says that the surface area which is provided by the roots is enormous. That is, the huge surface area is provided by the rootlets and also the root hairs. See, there is one root and then there are many root hairs coming out of it. Coming out of that one root. So, it means that if all these root hairs were to be laid end to end, they would cover a length of many kilometers, which tells you that the surface area of roots is enormous. Second, see, root hairs contain cell sap, which is of a higher concentration than that of the surrounding water. Thus, what does that mean? See, what are the root hairs? Root hairs are basically the extensions of the epidermal cells of the root. They also contain large vacuoles filled with a solution called cell sap. And this cell sap is of higher concentration than that of the surrounding water. Higher concentration of what? Higher concentration of salts. So, which means that inside the cell sap there is high concentration of salts, which means lower concentration of water, and outside there's higher concentration of water. So basically, we know what is osmosis. So due to the phenomenon of osmosis, the water which is of high concentration will move from there to its lower concentration, and thus root hair contains cell sap of a higher concentration than that of the cell water is a characteristic of root for absorbing water. Okay. See, some salts are dissolved in the cell sap. It's written here. Therefore, usually has a higher concentration than that of the surrounding water. This characteristic is an important requirement to drawing water from the outside, that is, the occurrence of osmosis, which is described later. Now, third characteristic of root to absorb water is that they have thin walls. See, all the plant hairs have root hairs. All the root hairs of the plants. Hairs are basically cells, and all the plant cells have two layers. First is epidermal, which means the outer one, and then that is a cell. See, basically all the plant cells and root hair is also a plant cell. All the plant cells have two outer layers. One is cell wall and second is cell membrane. How is cell wall and cell membrane in the case of root hairs is described here. See, the cell wall is thin and it is permeable, which means that it allows the movement of water molecules and dissolved substances freely in and out of the cell. It is not semi-permeable, it is permeable. But the cell membrane is very thin and also semi-permeable, which means that it allows water molecules to pass through, but not the larger molecules of the dissolved salts. The secret of the absorption of water from the soil by the roots lies mainly in this characteristic. Now there is a progress check. Let's do that. List the 3 primary functions of roots. As I have told earlier, first is I'm also thinking. First is that roots absorb water from the soil and then it conducts it into the stem for supply to the leaves, fruits, flowers, etc. Second, roots absorb mineral nutrients from the soil and conduct it into the stem for supply to the leaves, fruits, flowers, etc. Third one is that it fixes the plant in the soil, giving it support. Let's check from here. The roots fix the plant in the soil, giving it support. Fix the plant in the soil. These are the keywords mainly. Then roots absorb water and mineral nutrients from the soil and conduct them into the stem for supply to the leaves, flowers, fruits, etc. There are basically 3. The fixing of the plant in the soil, then absorbing water, and third is absorbing mineral nutrients. Second question of the progress check on page number 38 is, mention 4 purposes for which the plant needs water. Photosynthesis, transportation and mechanical stiffness. As simple as that. We can also give details, describe by photosynthesis, because water is used up in the green leaves as a raw material in the synthesis of glucose. By transpiration, it's all there in page number 37. Where are the mineral nutrients mostly used in plants? Where are they? Mineral nutrients are required or used as constituents of cell and cell organelles. Also, they are used in the synthesis of variety of compounds or enzymes within the cell. So, 2 points are there. First, that they are required as constituent of the cell and cell organelles. Second, that they are required in the synthesis of variety of compounds or enzymes within the cell. 2 things. Then, list 3 main characteristics of the roots that enable them to draw water from the soil. Repeat after me. First, surface area of roots is enormous. Second, root hairs contain cell sap, which is of a higher concentration than that of the surrounding soil water. Third, root hairs have thin wall. As simple as that. Thank you. The next